can give their homeworks for the student, they can assess the student, they can send videos, academic videos or any presentations, any questions, any PPTs, class note, and immediately student can react on that. There may be some forums. So this is a huge prospect to this learning management system, but it should be implemented in accordance with the requirements. This school or IIM, their LMS and a college LMS must be different because everything suits their need. So that is why the power development learning management system. And now I'll just finishing up discussion with some basic discussion. So there are few merits of online education that I'll discuss, and we can debate on that also, because I learned many things from you. Because at present there is no option but to go for online education. And say I just go one by one. Best faculty pool can be arranged globally. Say for example, in our case, I think college cases are a bit different. So our is a national institute. So what happened when we go class, when we pursue the classes for the students in chapter level, what happened, there are problems. In some chapters or regions, say we are having more than 100 chapters, support centers, another 100. So maybe 200 to 300 centers we operate this coaching system. But this is not standardized because somewhere faculties are good, somewhere faculties are not that good. There are some issues of the faculty. So now if we can go by the online education system, in our case at least, we can pull the best faculty members from India, even we can pull faculty members from outside India also if that time adjusts to aware the students, to keep themselves, the students more up to date about the latest knowledge and latest technology and latest teaching pedagogy also. So this is one of the benefits of this online education. Connect and interact with global experts for his or her learning skills.
বাইরে দোকান টোকানে গিয়ে করলে ওরা অভ্র কিংবা বাংলা ফন্ট এতে করে দেবে আর কি, একটু অসুবিধা হবে। হ্যাঁ একদম একদম একদম।
Stay up to date with the industry and all time updated content. Online classroom may be noiseless as audience noise can be muted. So I think in the beginning of my lecture session there are some noises. I asked the coordinator admin to mute that noise so that my sessions will be smooth and without any hassle or noise. So this is very much possible, this noise-less classroom, because in a classroom say where 50, 60, 100 students, 150, I have that experience in my college earlier days. 20 years back when I started my teaching. So when the commerce was a booming subject in West Bengal, so in a classroom 400 students have to tackle 400, 500 students. There is so much noise, so much disturbances. So that can be avoided easily here. More focused deliberations by this is very important. This point, last point of this slide, more focused deliberations by the company. What we have seen that in college level, I think you have always observing that. Say a class starts at 11 a.m. in the morning. Say 11 to 11:45 is the class time. So many times teacher used to come by train, bus, whatever. Teacher comes if there is no students or 1 or 2 students. Teacher is reluctant to take the class. Okay, sometimes roll call, it takes huge number of students, 10 to 15 minutes to. There are so many issues. That means the total full 45 minutes of class is not being utilized. But this online system, for this, say for example, now today's exam, our program was supposed to start from 11. We are there from 11. 5 to 10 minutes we have given for this inaugural, and then immediately I straightforward went into my presentation and I'm discussing uninterruptedly without any noise, and it's fantastic. And this system because it's a focused deliberation. I am having my presentation with me. Okay, if you see, if there is a physical, say for example, this program is done in a physical mode. So there may be no presentation. I am just discussing. Students are there are so many noises. Okay, because today is a very rainy season. Heavy downpour here where I am staying in North Kolkata. Heavy downpour. I cannot even go to the, say if it's in Nabadwip college. This program is at Nabadwip college, so I cannot even move to Nabadwip. because it's the rainy season. It takes 3 to 4 hours from here to go to Nabadwip. So there are so many difficulties. All the difficulties can be over with some focused deliberations. Okay. The last night evening, I prepared my presentations, and now I'm before you. I'm just giving my presentations one by one, points I'm verifying, and then after the presentation, I can take some queries from your end, and I can solve if possible from my end. It can be solved. So this is so focused. These discussions. Now the next one. Attendance of students can be verified only with highest level of transparency. That attendance is a major issue. You are saying sometimes university 75% at big talk, 75% attendance is a must. Otherwise, you will not. You'll be thrown out of the college. You'll be thrown out of the university. Okay. But what happened? Ultimately, you see, so students who are having no attendance, nothing, because everything can be manipulated. Papers can be manipulated. Okay. But here, attendance. Say for example, today's program. When the program will be over, so if students can give their attendance through the chat room, when with the recording system, when the recording will be stopped, that will come out as a WAT file directly to you are attending the classes. So that is a very transparent system. All the sessions can be recorded for future reference. I think these sessions have been recorded, so students are very alert. Teachers are very alert what they are presenting, whether it is relevant for the class, whether it is relevant, how they are teaching, okay, that everything. So they are very alert. No loss of time and energy due to movement, transportation, and other hazards in case of attending physical classes that I have already addressed during rainy season, winter. There are so many issues. Sometimes teachers they feel sick, but from home they can take easily these classes. Okay. So there is no loss of time and energy, and time is money. Okay. So online assessment and performance review can be done online any point of time. Any point of time you can attach these things. Say for example, after this session is over or within the session, if you have some MCQ, I'll just give you some 10 questions based on my deliberation, and immediately they will get the answer out of 10, 8, 7. That you can judge also whether the students are attentive in this program or not. That can be judged immediately. Highest level of professionalism can be brought into the system. Then that sort of professionalism, you cannot that amount of professionalism in your deliberations and in your performance will be thrown out of the system. That means professionalism must be there, and this is a very welcome thing for the education system. Faculty and students both manage time, energy, and resources more meaningfully and efficiently. Everybody's time is very meaningful. Everybody's time is very precious. So that can be managed. Sometimes students come, faculty is not there. Faculty is coming, student is not there. That is not. It is not. Say for example, I have seen many times we are giving lectures. Students are with mobile, and they are going by their own car also. They are living, but they are watching the classes. They are interacting because any time or any place this online system is workable for managing. So at the same time, I have seen that students are having some expectations from the faculty, from the system itself, from the administrator. What are the expectations? Because that I have observed from different classes, from different sessions. All queries to be resolved by the faculties online. Faculties should resolve these queries online. Useful, attractive, and informative presentation by the faculty members. So in case of normal class lecture, we do not use in colleges at least the presentations, because some board work or some deliberations, few teachers they want to have some books with them, they read some lines from there. Instead of that, in this platform, you need to have attractive and informative presentation, otherwise students will not be attractive. All presentations and lecture notes to be sent them electronically much before the sessions in order to have a clear idea about the subjects to be covered. What are the subjects? Tomorrow's topic, maybe final accounts. Okay, if we can give 1 day back or 2 day back that this is the topic, these are the subtopics I want to cover. After tomorrow, and you just make yourself prepared, and I will take a 1 hour class. So students like that type. Excellent audio video quality. Actually, this also depends on your bandwidth, but sometimes students get annoyed if this audio video quality is not good. Yeah, this problem may be from both sides, from the faculty side also, from the recipient side, from the student side also. But this is a matter of concern. Prominent accent and lucid language of the faculty is very important. Because online you cannot judge the student. There is no face-to-face contact. But what happens in a physical class, instantly I can take the interactions with the students, I can take the questions. But anyway, here there is no other way, there is no other options but to accept this. But I think we should welcome this online system. And I will end up with this slide what Rabindranath Tagore told. The highest education is that which does not merely give us information, but makes our life in harmony with our existence. So it is not all about the information. We should not be mechanical, not only professionalism. There must be harmony with all existence, very important, all existence. It's not only human being, everyone, every creature, that makes our life in harmony with all existence. So we should not forget our root. This is the root. And remembering the root, we should go ahead, we should progress with the advent of internet, with the online. I think that's all about I wish to talk about. It's already well known. So I'd like to stop here. So if there is any particular question or any comments, we will accept it. Thank you so much for giving me opportunity to share with you my ideas, my views on online education, higher education, how it will get shaped in the post-COVID world, and how we should take these challenges. Thank you so
much. Thank you, Dr. Nondi, for your nice presentation. And I will take over for 2 minutes right now. And I would request, because there are a lot of people joining in this course, in this web talk. So naturally, please do not unmute yourself and put your questions. I'm here and I'm ready to take your questions. I will take the questions. I have jotted down the questions, so I'll put them to Dr. Nondi. But before that, just 2 points, what Nondi said. One is it's a different ball game. It's really a different ball game because it's a totally different world for the teachers. They have to be structured and more cautious about what they are speaking. And of course, there is no option. What he said, Dr. Nondi said at the end of it, we don't have any option because there are some questions who says what happens, how it goes to the. I understand the issues. I'm not going to interfere into this. So, Dr. Nondi, I've just put in some questions which have been come up. Number one is please, would you like to answer them directly, or would you take the questions and then one by one answer them? Dr. Nondi?
Whatever you prefer.
Okay, so then I think I'll put a question, and then when you leave, I will take the another question. So, strategies required to prepare higher education during or post COVID-19. What is the strategies do you think may be required?
So, yeah. So the discussion I have made, it is all about the strategy. So strategy, one of the strategy, let's say for example, we're talking about the higher education in a college. So the college strategy must be, they should have workshop for the faculty members, so to prepare their mindset, to workshop with the students. That can be also through online because there is no way. So their mindset also, and as well as not only to mindset, you have to take the proper technology, you have to accept the proper technology. Maybe it's a learning management system or which platform you are using. So that is the strategy. One strategy I have mentioned because this is a more structured and organized thing now. We'll see the post-COVID world, we'll see. So our things, our material should be structured, study materials, e-study notes, everything. Even another thing I have skipped out, that is that video lecture, recorded lecturing of the faculty members. Good faculty members, say every classes can be now recorded. So good classes can be video recorded, and there might be some website in the college web portal. So student can access there with their password and all those things, so that they can view the classes. Those who have missed the classes earlier, live classes, they can see the recording. These are all sort of strategies. There may be so many strategies we can talk about. Thank you.
Okay, so next question is the online, do you think the online is a new normal, or is there any other contingent plan? Mane, what do you think is the future of these online courses?
Yeah. So what I've already said that in my discussion, that online is nothing new. Okay, it has been started. If you see, I'm just giving one example. I'm naming the institute. Say, for example, the big school is here in our eastern part only. That is XLRI Jamshedpur. Okay. If you see XLRI Jamshedpur, they have been started this online thing last 8 to 10 years. If you go through if you visit their school, you'll see there are 10 online, there are 10 studios, equipped studios are there. Studio means only not for imparting this online, 10 studios. Even these universities and everything, they're not even done with one studio, they are having 10 studios. Okay. So that means it is not a nothing, a new thing. It was there after the invent of internet, this online thing is in is very much in the system, but we have not taken resort to it. Okay. So there may be, why you have not taken resort to it, there are many issues. Sometimes we think that we may be not that much that competent, that internet facility may not be that okay, that system may not be that okay. There may be so many things. That is why from the institution, it should be institutionalized. That is why in the new education policy that has come up largely. So this is not that like that only in the post-COVID situation or post-COVID world it will come. It is there. It will be there. It is the need of the hour. So, yeah. This is
okay. So another question is this e-learning possible to all students given the kind of thing we have in the rural areas and the internet connections? What are your feelings? Can we take this to, how to take this to the road? Another thing, Manavendra has put in a question which can be tagged with this. How do you think is the role of the corporate in ensuring these education to all the people out there in the rural people, all the students out there in the rural places?
There are two segments of this question. One is whether the rural students can take up this thing. There are two things: whether the technology is there. Number two is whether their mind setup is there. So regarding technology, I think that when a student, through their smart, actually everybody is now having their smartphone. When a student can watch some YouTube movies or YouTube music thing, okay, anything. So it is most unlikely that they will not go with this online education system. Everybody is there. It can be available through mobile. This Google Meet platform. It can have it. They can see this through the mobile also. So one thing there might be that every student might not have that laptop or desktop. So, but nowadays all these platforms is their mobile version, so that will not be a problem. And I think government should take care that that connectivity should reach the most remote areas in India, so that everybody can be connected with this internet. This is one part. And another part of the question. What was the another part?
Role of corporate.
Role of that is
and part of social responsibility.
Yeah. So I think you know that section, I think 135 of that it's about the CSR, corporate social responsibility, and this has been revised time to time, and they are incorporating many new things, sometimes entrepreneurship, startup, some beautification and this sanitation, everything is there coming under this corporate social responsibility. I think it is high time. It's a good question. If we can raise our voice, if CSR fund can be used for this developing this connectivity, because we can give the connectivity. Corporate social responsibility is CSR. Through CSR, we cannot have that online education facility. They can give that good internet connectivity in the remote area. They can ensure. Okay. So that is one issue. If we can include, if government can include one point agenda under the CSR, the scope of CSR, that can be used for this connectivity, better connectivity. That can obviously be done, but the government has to come up with the okay.
Another question is very interestingly put by Dr. Anup of our college. Is it possible to develop super teacher using artificial intelligence? Then is it possible to will we then we will be basically redundant. Is it possible for artificial intelligence to come into the whole scenario?
I'll answer this question in a different way. Okay. So I just did 2 minute stories there. So last year in the month of June, I was in Kashmir to open one of our center at Kashmir that is now fully operating right. During that time, Kashmir government at that time, that is managed by that earlier system in Kashmir. Their secretariat, they have allowed us to go to few important colleges of Kashmir to visit there and to interact with their faculties and students and make them aware about our hospital. So this type of similar type of questions raised by one of the faculty members. He was a computer faculty maybe or faculty of statistics. So he told me a very interesting question. Question is like that. So we are talking about management accountancy, cost accounting, financial accounting, these tools, that tools, techniques, everything. So when this artificial intelligence is coming in a big way, this data analytics is coming, this blockchain is coming, so that will take care of this thing. What is the need of learning or teaching these things? So if we can teach them only data analytics and artificial intelligence, that will take care of that. But I replied in a different way. I told that yes, what you have told that is a good thing. But who will run this thing? This data analytics or artificial intelligence? They will give some good report, a business intelligence report, some report. Who will analyze those reports and which analysis will be beneficial for the human being? There may be some report which may not be beneficial for the human being. The corporate has to take action not only from their profitability aspects, they have to think about their about the benefit of mass. Okay, that is one of the concerns. That is why this corporate social responsibility has come. So who will take care of that? That is why there must be some human intervention. Who will take care of this system? So that is why the question is very good. If there is any artificial intelligence or robot is there, who will be taking classes and all those things. But that will be so much mechanical. And I think at present scenario, like the vaccination of COVID, this is like the vaccination of COVID. Somebody is saying we are taking it very within a month or so much. So it is artificial intelligence, and these things are in that stage only. Whether it will be replacing that, we can't tell. So this is my first.
Well, another thing, the last question maybe, because it's already 12:05. So last question maybe, do you, as your last slide said about some quote from our Tagore, so do you think that this online education is actually creating a harm in the educational forum, in the educational arena of West Bengal, kind of a situation where there are a lot of people from various places?
Again, this question I can answer in a different way. I can remember when in 1975 our television system came, TV. There was no internet, nothing was there, only radio is there. So television came in our house. It came in the year 1977-78. You can remember those days. So then people used to tell television box as Boka Box. So, but now after 25 and 20, that's 45 years is over. So now there is a revolution in media, not only television, digital things, and now we are watching movies through Netflix, through so many things. Okay, so this is the fallacy, or this is the mockery of the thing, that at the same time we are taking all this advantage of the internet in our personal life. Okay, and we are asking about whether this will be hampering the Tagore's view. There is nothing wrong with Tagore's view. Tagore's view is a philosophical that should be in our mind. But while you will implement something, while you will do something, while you will do for something better for that, first thing we have to think that whether any act or any action is for the betterment of the society. If you go for at least 90% of the people, we should go for that. It may happen that 10% people may not be, maybe a sufferer. But if it is reversed, it is good for 10% of people, 90% people are sufferers, then we should not go for it. That is my point. are taking all the advantage of internet in my house, my locality, my family. But while there is a question of giving a service for this society to students in the remote area or widespread of this system or widespread of this knowledge, then we are skeptical. Then our mindset is different. This is absolute compulsion. That's all I got.
I think, thank you. I think I will not take any further questions. I'm very sorry for this, every participant, but it is already 12:08 and there should be sufficient time for the next speaker. So thank you, Dr. Nondi, for being with us and sharing your views for almost more than an hour. Thank you very much. And so I will now hand over the mic to Onu to take over and carry on the session with the next speaker. Please, Onu, take over the mic. And no, Dr. Nondi, you can leave the meeting if required.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Judge Gupta, and thank you, Dr. Nondi, for pleasant presentations and very informative to us. Now, I will introduce Dr. Momita Chakraborty, Department of Economics, Kachrapada College. Actually, we have learned about the innovative way of teaching. Now, we listen from Momita Chakraborty some innovative way of financing during the COVID period or say post-COVID period. She will say something about reverse mortgage lending. Since we have already know the overburdening of mortgage lending in the year 2008, created financial crisis, and she has depicted as reverse mortgage lending as a source of innovative finance during the post-COVID. So she will detail us. Now, Momita Chakraborty, please go for your presentations. Momita Chakraborty, hello. Hello. I am audible?
Am I audible?
Hello.
Yeah, you are audible.
Oh,
You are audible.
Okay. Thank you, Anup, and thank you, the authority of Nabadwip Vidyasagar College and the organizing committee of this webinar for giving me this opportunity to share my views on this reverse mortgage. I would like to present it in a PowerPoint. Is it okay for this? I think so.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. Is it okay? Hello?
Yeah, is it is okay. Momita, carry on. Momita, carry on. It is okay.
Okay. So, this reverse mortgage or rational option during the twilight years in the post-COVID period, it is something that it's my personal experience. Start from my personal experience. From the last December, I am searching this reverse mortgage for my personal reason, and then I came to know that there is no such study regarding this in this external part, and I am interested about this very much, and I like to share my view about this. And I think after sharing this, you can, if some of you if not known about this reverse mortgage, so I can think that it will share something, or it will give some light on that, or it can to some extent, and I am trying to inform them about this. It starts from the Nabadwip plan 2002. That starts from the this Nabadwip plan is mainly the concerned about the aging problem of elder people and their problems regarding dignity, regarding security in terms terms of social, political, economical, everything. And I just briefly consider this Madrid plan. The Madrid plan mainly initiate change to enhance or to change some policies and practices in all levels, in all sectors, so that the elder or senior citizen of a society can lead a full life with dignity, security, and they can actively participate in social and development and in decision making, not only for families but also for societies, and also to recognize their contribution in the society. And more precisely, the improvement of living conditions is the main part of this Madrid Plan 2002. And besides this, the another act, this is the Indian Parliament has passed this act on 2007, that is known as the Maintenance and Welfare of Parents and Senior Citizen Act 2007. It mainly considers the welfare, maintenance of parents or senior citizen, and there are some complaint against even against their even their issues. So on the basis of that, I'm trying to just consider this reverse mortgage loan as a supplementary retirement income to them. And with that, this COVID situation where we are in the we're going through this COVID situation, there is another thing is that the medical cost, and it is not increasing only for this time, it is quite increasing for the last 5 years, or we can consider this, it is increasing and it will be increasing. And in that case, whatever income they are getting as pension, or as some of them are not getting pensions also in organized sectors also. So then reverse mortgage maybe can be considered as a supplementary income to their retirement year. And I am choosing this title Twilight Years because it is I must choose the golden years, but whether the years, whether they are actually in the golden years or they are actually leading a comfortable life, it is a doubt. And that's why I am choosing the title that's Twilight Year. Now, reverse mortgage is it is a known fact in developed nations, but in our country, it is first introduced introduced in 2007 Union Budget. P. Chidambaram first introduced this, and NHB, that's a National Housing, it was announced that NHB, National Housing Board, will be initiated some guidelines on this reverse mortgage, and it comes as far on 2008. At that time, more or less the leading banks like SBI, PNB, they are considering this reverse mortgage. And after that, there are 23 financial banks, including public sector and private sector. Now, I am considering it that those banks, that is before 1st April 2020, that means there are some, when there are almost 27 public sector banks, and some housing finance companies. At that time, they came with this reverse mortgage, and they considered it as, they named this as like Bagban or something like Sabalamban, something like that. They started with that reverse mortgage. Before this, starting to this reverse mortgage, I will consider some demographical fact. That is, it is the world population data. That is, in 2009, the world population, percentage of oldest population in total world population was around 8%. It is projected that in 2050, it will be as 22%. And if we consider some data on the West India, that it is as per census 2011, it is 104 million people, and it is the share of this old age population is elderly people is quite rising in India. It's from 6.5 in 1981 to 2011, 8.25. And another striking feature, it is just in last 2019 May or June, that there was a projection that within 2026, the old age population in India will be, it is expected that it will be 173 millions. So we are those people, we are in the age pyramid, those who are in the age pyramid 40 to 50, maybe we are reaching that, or we are going to that twilight years at that time. So it's not only for the senior citizen for right now, but it is for also us to require that, to know about this reverse mortgage loan. Another thing is that life expectancy birth is quite increasing. In 2011 census data, it was 67 years, and in 2019 October, there is a data from central government, and from that we know that from that mid-survey data, that mid-census data, we can see that it reflected that in 2018 that expected life expectancy at birth is increasing. It is almost 72.2 for male in urban areas and 73.5 for female in urban areas. As well as the oldest dependency ratio, this shows the the proportion of old age people per 100 men in working, per 100 men in working age group. That is also increasing, and it is almost 9.5 in 2019 as per World Bank data. Now, another striking features I am considering from that 2011 census data, that the urban housing is also increasing, and it is increasing from 2001 to 2011. It has been shown in, if we compare the two data from these two census, the 2009 and 2011, we get that it is almost increasing, almost 50% in that period. So we are not considering it, I am just considering the two things, that is the social safety net measures in India. I can divide into two parts. One is pre-retirement and post-retirement. Why I am considering it, that whenever we are considering that reverse mortgage loan as a supplementary income to retirement, retirement income, so it requires some retirement planning. So far in India, this retirement planning, we don't have such type of measure about the retirement planning, and it's not so popular, and people not used to or use this retirement planning seriously. They mainly consider them conventional social safety net measures before retirement and post-retirement also. And another species is that only 6% of our working populations, are more or less 6% to 10% is in organized sectors, most of them, and in that organized sectors, only the government, central government and state governments employees are getting pensions. And here I must mention that 2004, the NPAs, that means from government, central government employees who have joined the service after 1st January 2004, they are not part of that earlier pay-as-you-go pension system. They have considering a fully funded system, that is the new pension system. And after 2009, Indian government has opened it for not only for government employees but for all citizens of India. Now for pre-retirement, that mainly we are considering to PPF and to some extent, and if we consider data from Housing Finance Committee data that is released on 2017, from that people are aware about this PF or some PPF or something like that. That is customer. That is some or mainly they are depositing that instrument. They are depositing in debt instruments mainly. They are considering those PF and PPF, and to some extent for the from 1995 there is an besides EPF there is an EPS system, but EPS is not for all persons. Some a portion apart is getting that EPS, and the main problem is that pension coming out from EPS is not so. It's not so hefty amount. It's a very near. It is very lesser amount than the original pension system. And now we consider the post-retirement social safety net measures, or where that we are mainly considering this. Before that, we must consider the National Saving Institute. It is first the National Savings Organization that was established in 1948. Then it was considered as national. It was renamed as National Saving Institute. Mainly, this institute is giving us those instruments of like different small savings schemes like post office savings account, MIS, senior citizen savings schemes, and PPF, all these things. Mainly, this National Savings Institute was first. This small savings schemes are mainly people will get that from post office. Then PPF and this SCSS, some banks has introduced this PPF and account and SCSS, National Savings, Small Scale Savings. And mainly, if we can study that the post-retirement benefit, that is whatever they get from PF, EPF or gratuity, they mainly park this money in the small savings schemes, like SCSS or senior citizen service schemes, and another is MIS. Now I am giving us a brief discussion about the features of small savings, mostly where senior citizens are parking their money after post-retirement. That is, one is POMIS, that is post office monthly income scheme, and another is SCSS. Now do this at duration, and from this you can get that the duration is 5 years, and mode of holding is single or joint. The particular is contribution. Contribution is 1,000, or maximum is 4.5 lakh or 9 lakh for single and 9 lakh for joint. And for SCSS, this is the any civilian that is 60 years or above can join this SCSS program. It is the duration is also 5 years. It can be extended beyond that, but cannot be extended beyond 5 years. And for civilian, it is the 60 years of age. For defense personnel, it is the 50 years of age. After that, they can invest their money in this small scale saving, small senior citizen small savings. Another thing is that any person who is taking VRS or they are above 55 age, they can also invest in these small savings, senior citizen small savings schemes. And here also the main is that the maximum amount for a certain amount, it can be considered as 15 lakh. But the main drawback of these two schemes is the taxability. That the interest rate tax, the interest rate, whatever for the MIS, that whatever interest rate they are getting from that is applicable as per their slab rates. And some of them are not choosing the bank fixed rate because of this tax liability, and because if they are in the high tax bracket, then that is not giving it that post-tax return is very low for them. Similarly, for POMS is also for that, it also has this drawback, but people are choosing this POMIS because over the period, it is giving the higher rate of interest than bank fixed deposit. And another thing is, and for if we consider the senior citizens savings schemes, so in that case, the deduction of interest income will be above this 50,000 rupees. And now we consider this, and I am telling this, we are mainly considering these two schemes because we will make a study of these two things in later case. So that's why this POIMS and SCSS are important to us, because we will compare it in this COVID situation, or we will consider it in this COVID situation, how these schemes are becoming less impressive to the senior citizens, people, but they have no such options rather than these two options that they can choose. Because if we consider the rate of interest of this fixed deposit for 5 years, it is falling quite sharply. Now we consider the reverse mortgage loan. Reverse mortgage loans is a well-known concept in the developed nations, but in underdeveloped economy like India, it's first introduced into, I have already mentioned it earlier, that 2007 Union Budget by P. Chidambaram, and then it was announced that the guidelines of this reverse mortgage loan will be introduced by the NHB, National Housing Board, and those banks who are registered with this NHB, they can lend them, they can offer this reverse mortgage loan. Now, if we consider a circular flow of income, it is not but it is also, you can say from this circular movement, we can get the features of this reverse mortgage loan also, that the person must be a borrower must be a senior citizen, that is 60 years or have. Now, if the person is already, if the person is married and spouse is alive, then the age of spouse must be more than 55 or above 55 years, and they will be co-borrowers. Both of them will be co-borrowers. And what they will do, generally why people choose the reverse mortgage loan, generally in post, I have already said that those persons, even some undertakings, even some government undertakings, they don't have pension income, and they are getting a lump sum amount as PF benefit or gratuity benefit, whatever they are parking that in some fixed deposit or POIMS or SCSS. And this mortgage of house mainly arises whenever there is a liquidity crunch or they are missing, because it is a term that is well known to Indian economy, that Indian economy, senior citizens are asset rich but cash poor. So there is always a problem of liquidity. So there is a problem of liquidity, and to mitigate that, there maybe some expenditure on health or some expenditure on the house where they live, the reconstruction or the modification, they require some money, and whatever money they get from they park as fixed deposit or some POMS, and it is for their life, it is for their living, it is for their living. And this reverse mortgage loan then in that case can be handy for them to use that mortgage of house, and whatever money they are getting, they can use that some certain medical expenditure or some modification of their or the construction of their house, reconstruction of the house. That's it. And sometimes that if the elder senior citizen or elder person do not have that bequest motive, that if their children are not here, they are in abroad, or they don't have required to pass on their whatever their property they have to their next generations, or they have some they want to lead a life with financial independence. Generally, they choose this reverse mortgage loan. It is known from that various studies from developed world. It is that if persons mainly choose this only for financial independence, and when there is no bequest motive, they are mainly considered mortgage rules. And in Indian case, that is if there is some generally people are, but there is another source of income. You can say that in retirement, that is if they are packed with some builder and they give their opportunity for making some apartment of that, but in certain times it may be detrimental to their life. So they can also opt for this mortgage of house. They will go to the bank, and bank will give this mortgage or banking or finance company, And on the basis of the assessment of the value, rate of interest, the age of the borrowers, bank will grant a loan, and then that amount of money will be paid to them. Generally, there is two options. One is the bank can give them the monthly payment and to them, and the another is that they can buy or take the lump sum amount and buy some annuity. So now we consider the flow chart of working of RML or reverse mortgage loan. That is a senior person, a senior citizen with own house property, and that is the main thing, that the person must have an own house property. He will go to bank if they have no because motive like that, they will go to the bank, and if he is married and his spouse is 55 years or above, he will go, and the bank will, based on the borrower's age, valuations of property or prevailing interest rate, grant on 60 to 75% of the property value for a term of 20 years. And another thing, bank will consider that the longevity of that house that is mortgaged by them or that is used for this mortgage purpose must be that is 20 years for that period. And another thing, this 60 to 75 years is depending on the age, means a study shows that, and in case of some banks like PNB, like banks, shows that if the person who is 60 years old and if the tenure is 20 years, that means almost 80 money. When you will reach 80, that is 20 years, then the value of the loan that will be considered 60%, and as the age increases, it will change to 75%. The people, senior citizen with 75% of above ages will get almost 75% of their property value from that loan. And the another thing is that whatever payment is getting that, it will be discussed in monthly, quarterly, half-yearly or annual, and sometime a lump sum, maximum 20%, or some banks have already mentioned it as that the maximum 15 lakhs, that is capped by 15 lakhs for medical expenditure only, otherwise it will not be given lump sum amount. And after the term, that there is, after that, the main thing is, it is when this reverse mortgage was first introduced, it is introduced for 15 years, then it is extended for 20 years, and then it is further extended for the lifetime. That means a person, a borrower, a spouse can live in their house till their death. That recovery process will be start after the death. But and maybe in some cases, a person can live for 20 years, they can live within their houses, but the loan amount will be increasing. A loan amount will be accumulated. And next comes that the recovery of loan. The recovery of starts, and here there is some, in previous cases or in the earlier stages of this reverse mortgage loan in India, there is no options that repayment. But now that NHB and the guidelines, there is an option that if the person is switching to some other area, switching to other place, or they can repay that loan. And so it is some that these are the two exceptional cases. Now, if we consider that after the tenure, if those persons, senior citizens are alive, they can use their property, and but the loan amount will be accumulated. And next we come to the after death of the borrower. If after the death borrower, as long as spouse is alive, then this recovery will not start. The recovery will start after both of them, after the demise of both of them. And then there will be some, they will ask for that, the legal heirs to pay off the accumulated loan. If the legal heirs are ready to pay off the accumulated loan, they pay the loan and then keep the house property. Or if they are not ready to pay the loan, then the banks will sell the property, and if there is remaining some amount after that loan, and that will be given to the legal heir. Here we consider another aspect of this RML, it is called the non-recourse. Non-recourse means whatever loan accumulation will be, that cannot be the value more than the valuation of the house. That means whatever may be the loan amount, that must be below or as equal to the valuation of the house. Next term, if we consider the forward mortgage and reverse mortgage. Forward mortgage is nothing like that when we are taking the home loan, it is something like the forward mortgage. So if we consider, if we are making a distinction between them, that is reverse mortgage and forward mortgage, so we can distinguish some aspect. That first is the purpose. That is, purpose is to buy a home or like that, and here it is that we have a home, the senior citizens have a home, and they are utilizing that home for their retirement or the supplementary income with the retirement income. Now, age. In case of forward mortgage, generally now it is barred by 65 years by some private sector banks, and for 65 years is the maximum age, and that is barred by not only the private sector banks, public sector banks also consider that the maximum age for borrowing for a home loan is 65 years, and whatever money they are getting, whatever loan they are getting, that should be repaid within the 5 years. But in case of reverse mortgage case, that the person must be 60 years above 60 years. And for forward mortgage, it requires some income qualification, or whether reverse mortgage, it does not require any income qualification, and that's likely to just payment. In case of forward mortgage, we are paying the bank as EMI, and in case of reverse mortgage, the bank is paying to the borrowers. And next down, this equity and debt, it is the most important part of this distinction, that whenever we are considering a forward mortgage, we are starting with this. We can say that if we consider in financial economics, if we consider the percentage in equity and debt, that is whenever we are taking a forward mortgage, our debt is increasing and equity the debt is first we are considering the debt, and there is equity is something like whenever we are doing zero, and as the time progress we are repaying the loan, this equity is increasing and debt is falling. In case of reverse mortgage, this equity and debt, when you start the equity is 100, and when the person is taking loan from that reverse mortgage, and over the period this equity is falling and debt is increasing. And that's why at the end of the term, in case of forward mortgage, that liability is zero for a borrower, whereas in reverse mortgage case, it is the 100% liability or the value of the loan, we can say that. And the repayment. Repayment is in case of both cases, in forward mortgage or reverse mortgage, that repayment facility is available, and we can repay that. But one thing we can consider that from the point of view of tax, that in case of forward mortgage, whenever we consider we are taking loans from banks, we are getting some interest waiver, or we can case the interest benefit from that is the 24 years, something like that. That is the act. And another thing, from the principal amount, we can get benefit from that in the 80C. In case of reverse mortgage, the CPG has then whatever a person is getting from as a payment by taking a loan from loan as reverse mortgage, whatever money he is getting, it is not taxable. That is, from if we consider the other two senior citizen schemes or MIS, there is a strict difference between that there is a taxability on income in both these cases, but in this reverse mortgage case, whatever payment they are getting from bank, it is not taxable. Now, we are considering some merits and demerits from borrower sides and lender sides. That first of all, we have already discussed the supplementary retirement income, utilization of house equity. It has been in various studies, it has been shown that the people are whatever money they are getting, they are mainly investing in real estate, and they are in that process of their working whatever money they are in their working is, they are investing that money to buy a home first, and after that they can utilize that house equity for their supplementary income. And another thing is, there is no average limit. In case of the senior citizen in banks cannot allow, but bank is not ready to borrow, they lend money to the senior citizen if they are crossing the 70 years. But in case of reverse mortgage loan, if they request some money, if suddenly they request some medical expenditure, they can mortgage their loan house and get the money. And another thing is non-recourse loan. That means, I have already told you that this non-recourse loan means that whatever loan they are taking, or whatever, if the tenure they are senior citizens and that the borrowers and the spouses are alive after the tenure, they cannot, the value of that, the loan value cannot exceed the value of the house. From lender side, it is a secured loan, and secured loan means already a mortgage of a property, they are giving that loan, and there is a less possibility of NPA and increase in credit growth. And it is only in some recent study shows that the credit growth not is increasing from March to April, and Reserve Bank is reducing the repo and reverse repo, but and bank has more liquidity, but they cannot because the
আপনি দেবেন আচ্ছা কিছু না ওটাকে কপি আপনি লিংকটা পেয়েছেন তো লিংকটাকে জাস্ট কপি করে নিন কপি করে ওই ছবির উপরে আপনাকে কিছু টেক্সট লিখতে দেওয়া হয় সেই জায়গায় আপনি পেস্ট করে দেবেন
but the demerits we are considering the demerits from borrower side as well as the lender side. First we are consider the borrower side, difficult to understand. It is my personal experience. I am sharing with you that many retired bank employees do not know about this reverse mortgage loan, and it is very hard to understand. Make them understand that this is a product, you can use that, and whatever giving for their home, they must utilize that. It is very hard to understand, difficult to understand them, make them understand. And next, the expensive. And reverse mortgages, the processing charge or something like this is quite high, and that is also deterring the senior citizen to take that loan. And the interest rate, if in case of forward mortgage rate, where we consider it is from the next 1 year, we will consider from 8 to 9 or 7.5 to more or less 7.75 to 9. But in case of reverse mortgages, is quite high. It is almost 9.4 to 11. The lowest rate of this RML is offered by IOB, and that is 9.4 in 2019. And it is another thing is suitable for long term. Though we are considering that it can be shown by a study that whenever the person is aging more or the more senior citizen is moving towards the super senior citizen, that means his age is more than 70 years, they can get more payment from bank, but it is suitable for the long-term period. For a shorter term of period, the processing charge or the interest rate is so high that it is not suitable for the short-term case. And the valuation, this is also that bankers mainly judging the valuation in their own way. They are making an arrangement, and this arrangement, whatever they are making, it has that every 5 years they are making that arrangement. They are arranging the valuation, and whatever valuation they are making, only the 60% of that loan, basically it's 60% of that loan. I have already told that it is suitable for the long-term period, that is for 20 years rather than a 5 years. So people are getting only the 60% of that. Previously it was shocking. It was just 45 to 50% of the loan value that they are getting. But now for the house value they are getting as a loan. Now this is some increasing, and increased by 10% rather than 6%. And another is the inheritance issues. That is inheritance issues means the because that they are whatever they are saving as saving and investing in their own, they want to pass on to their heirs, next generation, and for that this inheritance issues. And mostly in India, this inheritance issue is some studies, and maximum studies shows that the interest issue is the main is acting as a main difference for this reserve mortgage loan. And another is the lack of awareness. Lack of awareness means whenever, not only for the retirement planning, post-retirement, where they can put their retirement benefit, they are some considering that traditional some products, and they are only investing on that. There is a lack of awareness from their point of view. And another thing is that expensive, whenever you considering expensive, that in case of reverse mortgage loan, the borrower has to pay a premium for their houses every year, and there is a clause in that reverse mortgage that if borrower is not paying it to their condition of their house, or they are not buying some insurance from it for their house property, there will be a foreclosure for that bank. And if the bank, the condition of the house is deteriorating, bank will foreclose the reverse mortgage loan. So and this house premium and premium rate is quite high. So that is also, and it takes this reverse mortgage loan is quite expensive. And from lender sides, we can consider something that is the longevity risk. We already have considered that the life expectancy of India is increasing, and if we go by that October 2019 data, that urban people are the main life expectancy at birth for men is 72.2 and 73.5 for women. So then longevity, as the longevity increases, so it becomes difficult for lender to start the recovery process. It is a problem. And another is crossover risk. That crossover risk consider the non-recourse loan, that whatever value, if the borrower is and his spouse is living that 10 or 20 years, and after that they are alive, and whatever loans are accumulating, that cannot be greater than the value of the house. So this crossover risk also deterring the lenders to give loans for this ML. And these two things, and risks arising out from asymmetric information. So, and we know that from asymmetric information, we know that two problems arises mainly, that is the adverse selection and moral hazards. The adverse selections, that means that maybe some healthy people will choose this RML, and that will be detrimental to the lenders. If you can. And another is moral hazard. That means it is that the person who is taking the animal must look after the condition of his house, and he will take he must repair his house, he must buy a premium for his house property. But in many cases, there is one, it studied that, or many cases, the samples show that there is a lack of interest in this purpose from the senior persons, and this creates the foreclosure of the loan. And some litigation risks. And litigation risks, it is the risk that is after the demise of the borrowers and spouse, if sometimes this legal heirs are not interested to either pay off the loans, or they are not, they are not giving the permission to bank to sell the property and get value, because there is another problem is bank is not judging the price of that house property at that price. They are only trying to recover their loans. So the actual value from the part of the middle years, they think that the actual value of the property is not, they are not getting the actual value, because bank is only getting interested to get their loan, and whatever value they are getting, they try to bargain that, but bank is resisting them to bargain or increase the price to bargain the property price. And another is lack of awareness. If we consider that the bank employees, and some samples have also shown that the lack of awareness, and already I have told you that I am considering some retired bank employees, they are not. Retired bank employees means they are retired on 2013 or 2014. They are not they are not known about this concept. And the present bank employees, and it is also my sharing with the personal experience. I have already told some 20 to 20 branches of different banks, and some banks, some employees are not even they are so reluctant about this. It is so new concept to them. Whether this concept is actually exist in the reality, they don't know about it. And another thing is that some banks like the SBI and some banks, they are, although that reverse mortgage loan is that is restricting in their website, but actually they are totally stop this offer of this reverse mortgage loan. And present scenario in India, that is the present scenario after COVID, that RBI is pushing liquidity in the banks, and bank is not in a position to disburse that because there is a shortage of demand, there is the lack of demand from investment side, and from also the housing data also shows that there is a lack of demand for housing. And so banks are sitting with liquidity. And another thing is that I must mention that in the previous quarter, Rajneesh Kumar, chairman of Indian State, they have enormous liquidity that they don't have to take money from market or take money from asking from government. He announced that in that press conference also. And some report also in Economic Times also shows that some banks are liquidity, enough liquidity, and they cannot disburse that liquidity because this lack of demand in the economy. Another thing is the falling interest rate of MIS and SCSS. The falling of these two interest rates is hurting very much to the senior citizen people. If we go through some data from that, from 1 year, if we consider the second quarter of previous year and second quarter of this year, the interest rate of POMIS is falling from 7.6 to 6.6, and for senior citizen savings schemes it is from 8.6 to 7.4, and it is changing 2020's 1st April, and it is remaining on the same for this quarter also. And this is hampered because most of them are mainly depending, especially those they are not getting income, they are not getting some pensions from government, or they don't have some other pension plans. They are only depending on this interest income, and this is a situation. Another thing is they are mostly vulnerable in this post-COVID situation. They are most vulnerable. They are medical health-wise, and not only for the physical health, mental health-wise, they are also very vulnerable. But another thing is, and it is already increasing their anxiety, that the falling interest rate of POMIS and SCSS. Another thing is inflation situation. Over the period, RBI, if we consider from 16-17 to 18-19, that inflation, CPI inflation rate is falling. But if we consider the household survey, inflation expectation household survey data, that shows that the next 3 months, the inflation median for the next 3 months is quite increasing, and for the next 1 year, it is also very increasing. So, and the uncertainty regarding the valuation of the real estate, it is also caused a problem that that real estate, our uncertainty of the future is also creating some problem in such a present scenario. And when bank has more liquidity, and already banks are suffering from a huge NPA, so this reverse mortgage loan can be introduced, can be in such a way that it will benefit the senior citizen, it will be a supplementary income to them, and they must get benefit from this. So I conclude from this that HFC report 2017, that HFC means the Housing Finance Committee report, and 2017, it shows that the working age population, especially the middle class populations, they are, whatever savings they are, they say, whatever savings they have, they are investing that for their physical assets and mainly housing. And if we consider the savings structure, most of the savings is going to this real estate. And another thing is important from this HFC data, that retirement planning, very few people, is only less than 10% people are considering retirement planning rationally. And another thing is they don't know the products that are existing other than the traditional product for parking their money. It is another problem. And this COVID situation or pre-COVID situation, the medical expenditure is increasing. Though the CPI inflation is falling, but the health cost is increasing. And if we consider the NSSO 75th round data, that shows that even a person is admitted in a government hospital, he has to incur some, or he has to pay almost the cost, 23% is total cost for this medical or this some medical test or some medical test, and that will be done not in some medical government hospital, that will be done in some private clinics, and they have to incur that cost. And another is that after this, in COVID situation and in middle class, mainly the urban middle class senior citizens, they are preferring now the financial independence. That means, and that NSS data also shows that people who are living with their spouse, it is the percentage of that is also increasing. So we can say that in that situation, and another thing is, whatever reverse mortgage is introduced in the reverse mortgage guidelines or reverse mortgage features are introduced in India, they are mainly following the developed countries' guidelines or developed countries' features. We are culturally, socially, economically so different from that developed nations, so this reverse mortgage concept must be introduced that will be matched with our culture, matched with our society, so that it can be made attractive to this senior citizen people who can utilize their housing equity for their supplementary income in their post-retirement period. And I can hope that then this period might be they will live a comfortable life, and really it will be literally a golden years for them. Okay. Now I end this. Okay, thank you. Thank you once again. Thank you to the authority of the Nabadwip College. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for your nice deliberation. And we are really thankful. And I'm also personally, I'm very sorry that you tried to enter the group and I couldn't admit you. I'm very sorry.
No,
please,
it's okay.
Okay. And actually, there are some questions, but we don't have much time for all the questions. I've just put in 2 or 3 very important issues which has come up. Is it possible to take a forward mortgage loan and then to set it off against reverse mortgage loan? This is a question put in by Onu. Yeah, it is possible.
Yes, it is possible.
In that case, whether it would be very cost effective or not, do you recommend this as a measure?
No, I think it's that first of all, I have tell you that personal experience of mine, that the banks are not ready to lend this money in this purpose, reverse mortgage loan. Maybe, I don't know what is the reason, but NHB is taking serious step, but after 2012, there are some, after 2000, the NHB is not taking some interest in this case. They are mainly considering the Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana or something like that. The RML is not, last 6 to 8 years, they are not giving importance to that. But if a person is taking a forward mortgage and after repaying that, he is using that, then it is possible. It's possible.
Another question which was put forward, what about, can reverse mortgage lead to a business opportunity? Can people go in for a business regarding this? I don't know. There was a question regarding
No. I missed that. No. It is only for the senior citizen for their comfortable living. There will be no commercial purpose. Cannot be used for commercial purpose, and any commercial property cannot be used as reverse mortgage case. Or it cannot be used for speculation purpose also.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. And so I would just like to put in, because I find that there are people who are not from the commerce and the economics background. So I'll just like to say in 2 words. Basically, what reverse mortgage I felt, madam said, is basically the locked-in value of a property. The senior citizen can take advantage of a property if he or she is cash starved. He can take the advantage of the property and can take a reverse mortgage, which will help him to live his elder years, the latter years, in a very good fashion. Thank you, ma'am, for your nice deliberation, and I really think that this is a very good opportunity which had not been very much utilized in the Indian context, if I am not wrong.
And I am just taking this 1 minute that
sure.
This Onuphan asked me for anything, that any topic
sure.
COVID situation. So that's why I am choosing this. That it can be related to higher education, because there is no such survey in this eastern area about this. Most of these surveys is regarding the NCR, Delhi, and Gujarat and Mumbai.
Absolutely.
So there is a lot of scope for this research.
Yeah, absolutely. And furthermore, in the post-COVID situation, very senior citizen can take advantage of this situation, because earning is gone down, so it can be a very supplement to their income. Thank you, ma'am.
Yes.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Is Badulda, head of Department of Economics, is there? Can you hear me, Badulda?
Yes.
Okay. Would you kindly, you are audible. Apni ki ekটু kindly take over korben to just a few lines that we are ending our course, and আমি কিন্তু এটা দিয়ে দিয়েছি, share করেছি লিংকটা. So apni please conclude the session, Badulda, please.
Yes. Can you follow me?
Yeah, surely, Badulda. I am okay. শোনা যাচ্ছে সব? শোনা যাচ্ছে Badulda? Please চালিয়ে যান.
Okay. On behalf of Department of Commerce and Department of Economics, in collaboration with Internal Quality Assurance Cells, that is IQAC, we would like to extend our gratitude and thanks to all of you participated in this program. First of all, we thank Dr. Shapun Kumar Rai, Principal, Nabadwip Vidyasagar College, for his valuable guidance. Special thanks to CRA Dr. Nabaprishanna Nandi and Momita Chakraborty for their beautiful deliberations. Without mentioning anybody's name separately, we would like to acknowledge immense contributions made by our faculty members who spared precious time for this program. Finally, we would like to extend our gratitude and thanks to the participants for being with us. Thank you all once again. Thank you.
Okay, so thank you everybody, and I end the meeting. I have submitted I have given you all this Google form. Please give your feedback, valuable feedback, and if within 1 hour you don't get the certificate, please WhatsApp us, because that is one way of communication left with us. So thank you all, and we end the meeting. Thank you very much.